Hey, it's Ron here, and you're Binge Watching with Ron. Today, I'm presenting the first episode in a series I like to call Really Bad Movies That Everybody Should Watch at Least Once. That's right, bad movies that deserve a look. Today's entry is the 1982 horror spoof Pandemonium. Pandemonium is a campy Zucker Brothers style parody of late 1970s horror films like Carrie and Halloween. Despite having several well-known comedic actors and stars, it really never got the attention it deserves, even as a cult classic. The movie opens in 1963, where a group of It Had to Be You cheerleaders are murdered in a very strange way. This is followed by newspaper headlines showing other cheerleaders murdered in strange ways as well. Needless to say, the cheerleading program is canceled and considered cursed. Jump ahead to the 80s, where we see that a cheerleading camp is being opened by Miss Bambi, who we met in the opening of the film. Bambi was shunned by the slain cheerleaders, but went on to be head cheerleader for a different school. Even though rejected, she felt the need to return to It Had to Be You. Then we are introduced to the teenagers, victims 1 through 6. Among them are the very funny Carol Kane as the innocent Carrie clone Candy, and Judge Reinhold, a cast member of a true classic Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We also meet the displaced Royal Canadian Mountie Sergeant Cooper, played by Tom Smothers of the Smothers Brothers, and his horse Bob, and his sidekick Officer Johnson, played by Pee-wee's Big Adventures, Paul Reubens. Cooper is concerned by the escape of an inmate from the state penitentiary, the escape of a deranged killer from the mental hospital, and the opening of the cursed cheerleading camp. While making a visit to the cursed cheerleading camp, Candy falls for Sergeant Cooper, and Sergeant Cooper falls for Candy, and they break out into a rendition of the Indian Love Call. One by one, the members of the camp are picked off in ridiculous ways until the final girl faces the surprise killer. The movie is filled with Zuckeresque sight and literal wordplay gags, like the 6 teenagers' names rhyming.
Mandy, Candy, Candy,
Randy, Andy, Glenn, Glenn Dandy.
It's a really bad movie that misses the mark with a brilliant cast. Carol Kane was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress and has an Emmy for her portrayal of Andy Kaufman's wife in Taxi. She has been in countless successful movies playing character roles such in films as The Princess Bride, Addams Family Values, and Scrooged, just to name a few. And she's also had her share of starring roles in films such as When a Stranger Calls and Hester Street, which is the film she was nominated for an Oscar for. Tom Smothers has been nominated for several Emmys for the variety show he did, The Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. Judge Reinhold, who played Glenn, as I mentioned, was in the cult classic coming-of-age film Fast Times at Ridgemont High, released the same year, as well as many other 80s hit movies such as Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills Cop and Gremlins. Judge was nominated for an Emmy as well. Paul Reubens is, of course, famous for his alter ego, Pee Wee Herman. There are other famous award-winning performers featured in cameo roles, such as Phil Hartman, Eve Arden, Kay Ballard, Donald O'Connor, Tab Hunter, and Eileen Brennan. Just as a side note, it is directed by Alfred Soles, the writer and director of one of my favorite slasher movies, Alice, Sweet Alice. I've looked for references to this movie, but sad to say I can't find any. This is a really great bad movie that never went anywhere. But watch it enough times and you'll be a fan and will start memorizing the lines, just as my wife and I have, since watching it on VHS tape recorded from HBO years ago. At the time of this recording, it is not available from any of the streaming services, but I did find it on YouTube and I will share the link below. So please like and subscribe to my channel, and I look forward to sharing the next really bad movie that everyone should watch at least once.